is Katie. Is this too close to my face? Is this too close to my face? I'm sorry. I'll like stay back here. I had the camera over where I usually do, like over here, but the lighting was a little bit off. This seems a little bit better, so you're gonna be very close to my face today. And also the air conditioning's on, so if you hear it, I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry because it's 1,000,000 degrees. And you know Katie gets a little warm. So today's video is going to be 7 tips, 7? 7. I definitely do this. Let me know in the comments if you guys do this or this. I do this. Anyway, 7 tips on how to move from a house or an apartment into a car. And so this could be if you're just moving into your car for a summer, for like a summer-long road trip, or if you're moving into your car permanently, anything in between. Hopefully some of these tips will help you make that jump from living that like house life or apartment life and having that type of life into living in your car, being on the road, or even living in your car in one spot. But before we get into this video, make sure that you're subscribed and ring that little notification bell so you're notified of all my videos. I do like car life stuff, travel, road trip, also just like some vlogs and some like life of Katie Carney stuff. So if you're interested, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and let me know in the comments after you watch this video, but let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions that I didn't mention about living in a house and then moving into a car. Because obviously none of these videos that I do about like tips or advice are gonna be all inclusive, because then the video would be 4 hours long. And so these are just some like of the important tips that I have, but obviously it's not everything. So if you guys have other ideas, let us know in the comments, and then so we can all kind of talk and hang out with each other. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I have some notes on my phone. P.S. This is a Kate Spade phone case, so the top is clear, and this is all like sparkly. I got it from TJ Maxx or something. That's where I get most of my phone cases, if you were wondering. But anyway, number one, the most important thing that I could tell you if you're kind of thinking, oh, I live in a house but I really want to go on a road trip this summer, or I kind of want to move into my car, or I really want to move into my car and be on the road for the next few years. The most important thing, number one, is make sure that you want to do it. And so I'm just going to kind of read what I wrote and then elaborate. Make sure you really want to do it. Don't just do it because you think it sounds cool. If you're making excuses, you probably don't want to do it, and that's okay. You can use your energy to do something else awesome. And so I realized for me that if I think something sounds cool, like for instance, writing a book. I have been a writer, I don't even know if you guys know this about me, I've been a writer, editor and stuff for like most of my adult life, or all of my adult life really. And so when I was in like my early 20s, I really wanted to write a book. And so I'd start writing a book, and then after a couple pages I'd give up, and then I'd have a new idea a few weeks later, start writing a book, and then give up. And then I just kind of realized, maybe I don't really want to write a book, because I'm kind of one of those people, you guys know I talk a lot about priorities and excuses and reasons and living your life the way that you really think is best for you and being fulfilled, and like just doing what's best for you, for your loved ones, for society as a whole. You guys know I talk a lot about that stuff. And so in terms of living in your car, I have had so many people tell me, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous, that sounds so cool, blah, 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 how'd you do that? I wish I could do that, but I can't, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I feel like if you really wanted to do it, and if it was your number one priority, you would figure out a way to do it. You might still want to do it, but have other priorities, and that's totally okay. Figure out those priorities, deal with those priorities, live those priorities, and then maybe in the future you'll change your mind, or maybe if you really think about those priorities, you'll actually realize that what you're living for isn't really your priority, and maybe you can change it to focus on something different. But in reality, if you really want to do something, generally, not all the time, generally, you will figure out a way to do it. Again, if it's your number one priority, because you might have different priorities, but if it's your number one priority, you'll figure out a way to do it. Even if it's hard, even if you've never done it before, even if you have no idea where to start, you'll figure out a way to do it. So if you're kind of thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to live in my car for the summer, but you keep making excuses, I would just suggest really kind of sitting yourself down, having a one-on-one talk with yourself, and really realizing if you actually want to do it, or if you just think it sounds cool. If you just think it seems like a fun thing to talk about, or a fun thing maybe to do for a day or two. Actually really think if you actually want to do it. And so doing stuff like researching on YouTube, like you're doing right now, is a really good first step to kind of see like, well, here's lifestyle, here's the reality of what it takes to live in your car, the changes you have to make, what the day-to-day life is. There's a lot of research you can do, or just even thoughts that you can have. And so I really think the number one is make sure you want to do it, because if you think it's cool and you think it sounds so cool and you know someone else doing it or whatever, and you think it just sounds cool, that's great. Lots of things sound cool that I don't actually want to do, or that I actually will never end up doing. Going to space sounds awesome. I would never do that. ever. I just wouldn't. But that doesn't mean it doesn't sound awesome. But I am putting my energy, my time, my money, my brain space, my power into something else. And so you can think something's cool, but it might not be right for you. It might not be something that would actually fulfill you or make you happy. And so number one is really, really make sure that it's something you want to do, because it's definitely not for everyone. I love it. Tons of other people love living in their car, traveling, being on extended road trips. People love that lifestyle, but it's definitely not for everyone. Absolutely not. Just like having a 9-to-5 is not for everyone, or having kids is not for everyone, or living in the same place their whole life is not for everyone. But that is for some people, and that's where they excel, and that's where they thrive, and that's where they do the best, and that's where they feel fulfilled. And so really just make sure of what you actually really want to do. That's tip number one. The rest are gonna be a little bit shorter, but I feel like that's the most important one. So number two kind of goes to number one. This is kind of like a 1B. Don't let other people's opinions sway you. People that you know, if you've gone through number one, what I just explained, you're like, no, I want to do this. This is what I feel like is gonna be best for me. Even if it's for 2 months or if it's for 2 years, this is what I think is gonna be best for me. This is what's gonna make me happy and fulfill me. There are going to be people around you who are gonna tell you that you're crazy, that you're dumb, that you're making a bad decision, that you're stupid, that you're lazy, that blah, 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 blah. There are gonna be people who are attacking you, who are bringing you down for you following your own dreams. Partially because they don't follow their own dreams, and so if they see you following your dreams, they think that you're somehow cheating or lying or doing something wrong. You're not. You're actually just following your dreams. A lot of people don't do that. And also a lot of people just don't understand different lifestyles. And so if you talk to someone who has lived in the same house for the last 40 years, and then you talk about traveling for the next 5 years, they're gonna be like, what? That's not how people live. Because it's really hard for people to think outside of their own little like bubble. And so don't let other people's opinions sway you. Unless you're doing something incredibly dangerous for yourself in like a different realm, but I'm just talking about living in your car or traveling, going on a road trip with yourself or your friends or whatever. Don't let other people's opinions sway you, because their fear should not change your decision of what you know is best for you. Number three, and I feel like this is a big one for a lot of people that either don't understand it or they don't really think that they can do it. You're gonna have to get rid of like most of the stuff you own, especially if you're going on a long-term trip. If you're just going on a couple-month road trip, it's more about packing. But if you're gonna be living in your car, like I moved into my car. All the stuff I own fits in my car. I've gotten rid of most of my stuff. Everything fits and is organized in my car. Right now, it's not very organized. I'm in the middle of organizing it, but it does all fit and it all goes in my car, and it's all stuff that I need and that I use. And so let me just read to you what I wrote down, and then I will elaborate. Get rid of your stuff, like most of it. Keep what you use and what you love and what you need. You can either throw it out, give it away, or if it's a short-term road trip, you can leave it at a friend or family member's house or rent a storage unit. Or if you are only gonna be gone for a month and you're gonna pay rent, obviously you can just leave stuff at your apartment or at your house or wherever you live or whatever. If you want space in your car, then you don't need 4 winter jackets and 5 pairs of heels that you never really wear. Unless you do love them and you do wear them often and they bring you joy. But so yeah, think of what you'll really use and what you really need. So you can go like the Marie Kondo route on this. If you want, hold everything you own and see if it brings you joy. And if it does, bring it into the car with you. If it doesn't, get rid of it, throw it out, give it away, sell it, do whatever you gotta do. But the thing about living in the car is that, or a van or anything like that, you have limited space. And it really is all about being a minimalist. And a lot of people I think have a wrong definition of minimalism. Being a minimalist does not mean that you don't have anything. It just means that what you have, you love and you use. And so it's one of those things, go through everything. Think, especially, it is going to depend if you're gonna be gone for 2 months or 2 years, it's going to depend. And so if you're just packing for a couple months, it's, yeah, you know, I might only need 10 shirts and 3 pairs of pants and a bathing suit. And then you can just, you know, go to laundromat every few weeks. And honestly, if you're going away for a month or 2, you probably only need maybe 2 pairs of shoes. Honestly, like a pair of sneakers and then maybe like a pair of like nicer shoes or whatever if you're going out. And that's kind of it. Or a pair of flip-flops or something. Really just think about the duration of your trip, where you're going, obviously, and what you really use and what you really need and what you really love. That's going to be the biggest thing. If you guys want me to make a separate video just about this topic, let me know in the comments. I could talk about this for 20 minutes, but I don't want to in this video. If someone in a regular house who has a closet full of clothes wanted to move into their car, it would take a lot of getting rid of stuff. You'd probably have to get rid of 2/3 of your clothes. All of my clothes, besides my jackets and like my shoes and my underwear, I keep my underwear separate. All of my clothes, my pants, my shirts, everything fit in one carry-on suitcase. And that's just how I like to have it. It's a lot about getting inside your head. What do you enjoy? What do you like? What brings you joy? You might want to bring 2 guitars because you love playing the guitar. You play it all the time. You want to bring 2 of them on a 3-month road trip. You're gonna have to find room for those. And so you might understand that you have to sacrifice, or just actually sacrifice without air quotes, sacrifice other things. So you might only be like, you know what, I'm only gonna bring five shirts. That's it, done. 1 pair of pants. I would always bring 2. I would never have 1 of anything that, especially that you wear, because what if you spill spaghetti on it? You know, just always kind of think, what if you spill spaghetti? And so 2 pairs of jeans, 5 t-shirts, 2 pairs of shoes, done, because you want to have 2 of your guitars. And so it's a lot about what's important to you, what space you have, and what you really, really want to bring with you. Because you also, like, it's about bringing the smallest amount of stuff possible, mixed with not feeling like you are lacking or you're in need. You know what I mean? And so still have what you want, but having too much is going to just be too much. So number 4, this is just my suggestion. Obviously, these are all my suggestions. You don't have to listen to any of this. Number 4, I would say, especially if you're gonna live in a car, make sure that you own it. I would not live in a car that I leased. Ever. I bought this car in 2010, so I've owned it for 9 years. It's a little bit different if you're gonna be staying in the same place. If you wanna move into your car for a summer to save some money, it's gonna be a little bit different, because I think the main thing in terms of leasing versus buying is the mileage. I drive all the time. I'll put 25, 30,000 miles on my car in a year, and a lot of leases, it's like, oh, you know, 12,000 or something. And if you want more than that, you have to pay more and all that kind of stuff. So I would say buy your car. And also, if you want to make any modifications, if you're going to be living in your car or traveling long term, you might want to make modifications. And if you're leasing the car, you can't really do that, or you might have to pay more for damages and all that kind of stuff. So I would say, if you can, buy your car, have a car that you actually own. Number 5 is mindset. This, again, can be a whole nother video. Again, I'm just kind of touching on these topics. It's not all inclusive. There's a lot of information. So I'm gonna read this to you really quickly. Mindset, living in a car is drastically different than living in a house or an apartment. But again, if you want it badly enough, it won't seem like too much work for you. Every change in life is work. Any big decision, any big life change, anything that's really important is work. But if you want it badly enough and you think it's really, really good for you, the work won't seem bad. The work won't seem negative. It might not even seem like work. It'll just seem like something that you're doing to receive the benefits, receive the result that you want. So yeah, it won't seem like too much work for you if you really, really want it, but realize why you're doing it. Pay attention to why you're doing it. Focus on that. Whether it's freedom to see the country, experience, whatever it is. Sometimes it might be hard, but most of the time that effort will be absolutely worth it, because every lifestyle is hard / has bad times. And so you might as well choose a lifestyle that brings you the most joy or fulfillment. And that obviously is different for everyone. It is different for everyone. But I'm saying the general person who's thinking about living in your car, if it's something that will bring you joy, bring your family joy, be the greater good for everyone around you, or even for the world, if you can somehow make it into a thing that is helpful for more than just you, that's amazing. But even if it's just helpful for just you, that's okay. We're allowed to take care of ourselves and do things. And that's hard for me, honestly, going on a minor tangent. It's hard for me to realize that it's okay for me to do things that I enjoy. It depends on your self-esteem and stuff. Sometimes people have low self-esteem in a way, or low self-worth or depression in a way where it's like, oh, I really want to do that, but you know, my family might miss me, or I don't know, you know. It's important to believe in yourself, because you can do whatever you want to do. You absolutely can. You are so capable. And so if the thing that's kind of holding you back is self-doubt, or fear of the unknown, or oh, I don't know if I'm strong enough. You absolutely are strong enough. You just have to find that strength, whether it's within you, within your religion, in God. You have that strength to be doing these things that fulfill you as a person, that bring you joy. Because then the more joy that you bring yourself, the more joy you're able to bring other people. The more fulfilled you are, the more you're able to help others. And so sometimes it might feel a little selfish to do something that you really, really want to do, to leave your family, to leave your friends. I'm not saying leave your kids and your wife to go on a 4-month road trip and just leave them behind. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying if you're 21 and you're about to move out of your parents' house, but your parents are really gonna miss you, if you have one of those families that like, they don't really want you to leave, but you wanna go on the road for 3 months, you're allowed to do that. You know what I mean? If it's still like, if you're still being responsible for your life, if you're still paying your bills, if you're still working, if you're still doing whatever, if you saved up money and that's how you're doing it, if you're still being responsible, then do it. And again, there's always different scenarios where it might not be the best time, or you just had a brand new baby, so maybe you shouldn't leave your husband or leave your wife to go on a road trip or something like that. It's always different experiences, but if you're single, if you have all your bills paid, if you have a job that you work online, or if you're able to take 3 months off and you have the money, or if you want to stay in the same place and you have a 9 to 5, but you realize that you don't really want to pay rent and you want to live in your car and then every weekend be on the road, you can do these things. And I know it's a completely different lifestyle. I know people are going to try to talk you out of it. I know that society is literally telling you that it's not okay. I have so many comments all the time like, oh, society's so sad that she thinks this is okay, or that she has no money, or blah, blah. I work 2 jobs. I work 2 full-time jobs. But I love living in my car because I love the freedom it brings me. I love that literally right now, I could go drive to Pittsburgh if I wanted to. I could go drive to Omaha. I could drive wherever I want to. It might not be those places. I actually do like Omaha though, but I could drive wherever I want to. I can do what I want to. And that's the lifestyle that I want to have. And so if it's the same lifestyle that you want to have, it's a mindset change. It just is. Lots of big choices, big changes are mindset changes. I just realized that this angle I feel like is making my head look even bigger than it is. Anyway, mindset is really important. Realize that you can do it. It's not a, I deserve whatever I want. It's not a, I'm entitled to this. It's none of that. It takes work to live in your car, to travel, to have a lifestyle that you enjoy, to have freedom, to feel like you're experiencing life, to feel fulfilled, takes work. So it's not that you're being lazy. It's not that you're making a bad choice. If you really, really think this choice is for you, your mindset is going to switch. And especially because living in your car, again, is super different. You don't have a shower in your car or a bathroom. You have to get used to, if you wake up at 2 a.m. and you have to use the bathroom, you're gonna have to go in a truck stop or something. You're gonna have to get used to showering in public and wearing shower shoes. You're gonna have to get used to a ton of different things that you might not already be used to. But if you want it badly enough, those changes are not gonna be bad. They're just gonna be different. And that's just how life is, you know what I mean? So number 6 is buy some living in a car essentials. And so again, this, I feel like maybe I've even done videos on this before, and if I think of others, I could add them later, but there are gonna be some essentials that are going to be very helpful when you live in your car that you already might have just by having a car. You might have some of these, but when you actually move into your car, or you go on a long road trip, or you live in your car, there are gonna be things that would be worth buying. And so I have, again, you might already have some of these just from having a car and driving. Have a phone charger, like that plugs into your cigarette lighter. Have a power inverter. I have a Duracell one. I got it at Target for like 20 bucks, but that means that you're gonna be able to plug in like your computer or something like that into your cigarette lighter. Have an external battery for your phone. Have a whistle, like a loud, something loud, like emergency, any emergency stuff for your car. First aid kit. Make sure you have a spare tire. Flares. They also have like battery, like external battery things that if your battery dies in your car, you can jump your car with an external battery. I was just talking to someone earlier today who had something that you plug into your cigarette lighter that can put air in your tire. So they have all that kind of stuff. And so have as much of that stuff that makes you feel safe and comfortable in terms of safety and emergency supplies for your car. Definitely have a first aid kit. Stuff to cover your windows, that's super important. Again, you guys know I'm super minimalistic when it comes to car stuff. I have not converted my car. I have not done any permanent changes in my car whatsoever. And when I go to sleep at night in my car, generally I'm sleeping in the back. Sometimes I've changed it around, but generally I sleep in the back. I hang up towels and t-shirts. And then I have those netty things that I put over the windows. But that's it. I don't have my windows tinted. I don't plan on getting them tinted. I might in the future, but I really, really don't plan on it at all. That's just not something that I feel is necessary for me. If you do, then go get that done. If that's something that you want, go get your windows tinted. But I would say at least have some stuff to cover the windows when you're sleeping. Did I put anything else on here? Oh, AAA or something similar. I don't have AAA, but I have a very similar one through my car insurance. Like my car insurance just has like a little upgrade where you have roadside assistance. So that's super important when you're on a road trip or you live in your car. And then the last thing is a Planet Fitness membership, any kind of gym membership, and then I also put like a quick dry towel, shower shoes, and a good toiletry kit. Something that you feel like, you know, make sure that you pack in a way that makes you feel the best. If you have so much stuff and it overflows, you're gonna kind of feel a little like this, like anxious-y or whatever. But if you have like a good overnight bag or gym bag, put some good toiletries in there. I always have stuff linked in my Amazon recommended in my description of some of the stuff that I use. And then a quick dry towel and flip-flops for the shower, because you do not want to go into gym showers or public showers without flip-flops. And then the last one, number 7, the last thing I'm going to talk about today is have an idea of an itinerary / follow the weather. So these are 2 different things, but essentially if you're going to be on the road, this is a little bit different obviously. If you're just moving into your car to stay in the same spot, then this won't really pertain to you. But if you're moving into your car for a few months, or if you just wanna be on the road for the foreseeable future, for the next few years, whatever it is, I would have a mild, just a mild, you guys know I'm not big into planning, but I would have a mild idea of where you're going, mild. And mine is as mild as I know in the winter, I generally go somewhere warm, and in the summer, I generally go somewhere north. And so just kind of have an idea. That's all I'm saying. Have an idea. Because if you're not really thinking, like honestly, my first big road trip that I went on with my friend Matt. You guys have heard stories about this road trip a million times. So it was my first big long-term. We stayed in my car for a month and it happened about 6.5 years ago. But we did not really plan for the weather. And so we ended up in Yellowstone in late October. It was literally freezing. We camped for 2 nights, but it was, I'm not kidding, about 28 or 30 degrees both nights, and we were not prepared. We had really like cheap sleeping bags, cheap tent, we had nothing. But now I have a 0-degree sleeping bag. I think that's super important too. If you're gonna be in the car, obviously, I did not mention things that were super obvious, like have blankets and pillows, but also have a 0-degree sleeping bag. You guys know I talk about that all the time. I have a mummy sleeping bag. It's 0-degree, even a 20-degree would be fine, but have something like that. But then also have things to help you when it's warm, like a fan or like a little spray thing with ice in it. Like before you're about to go to bed, or if you're hanging out for the day, get some ice, put it in a little spray bottle. So when it melts, it's really, really cold. Just kind of pay attention and have things that will help you for when you're driving around. And so my friend Matt and I did not do that. And we were in Yellowstone and it was literally freezing. And I still enjoyed it because the experience was amazing. Waking up in Yellowstone is just, if you haven't done it, if you have not camped in Yellowstone, I highly recommend. I think those couple days we were there, we camped in Mammoth and just, it was gorgeous. But, oh, wait, do I have a picture? Yeah, this was the picture that I woke up to. I opened my tent and this is what it looked like. And so I took a picture. This was 6.5 years ago. Oh my gosh, but I keep it up here. You guys know I have like patches and stuff up here. And so I keep it up here just as like a little, I'm not super sentimental, but I like having a few little reminders of things. But anyway, just having an idea of where you're going might be helpful. But you guys know me, I don't like to plan too much because you might get somewhere and you might have, okay, I'm only planning on being here for 3 days, but then you might meet some awesome people, or you might realize that there's a really cool event or something in 4 days. And you're like, well, I already planned to leave. Certain things are going to be things that you might have to plan more, especially if you're going into a national park and you want to pay for camping, or if you're meeting up with friends, there's gonna be certain things you might have to plan more. But if you're just by yourself, or if you're with a friend and you're both super easygoing about travel, I would just say go, and then maybe have an idea if you want to, you know, yeah, we'll leave in about 3 days. But if something happens, something comes up that seems really, really awesome, do it, you know, because I think that having too strict of a schedule could, I'm not saying all the time, could have you kind of miss out on some awesome things that if you were a little bit more flexible, you could have really, really enjoyed. So it's just kind of, you know, but also some people love a strict schedule, it makes them feel better. So then definitely do that. But if you can, if you have a little bit of flexibility, I would say be a little flexible, because you never know what's gonna happen. And you could find some awesome things that you never really even thought of, but that you found out once you got to that city or got to that park or got to that town. So that's gonna be it for this video. As I mentioned earlier, this is not an all-inclusive. There are tons of other things to do in terms of planning for a road trip or planning to move from your house into your car. And so if you want like a part 2 to this, let me know in the comments. And also, again, if you have any things that you've done in your personal life, or you know people who have done in their personal lives, let us know in the comments. You guys know I love sharing ideas with you guys, but I also love when you guys share ideas with each other, because I love that there's like a community where we all help each other and we're all like super close and super awesome and super nice. And so I can do a part 2 with a little bit more in depth in terms of packing if you want me to, or in terms of like things, because I feel like that's kind of what people ask about the most. But I also think, again, one of the most important things is mindset, and making sure you really want to do it, and making sure you know what you're getting yourself into. It's not as hard as people think it is, living in your car, traveling, all that kind of stuff. It's not that difficult if you really want to do it, but it does take some mental preparation, some physical preparation, some mindset changes, and some being aware of certain things. You guys know I did a safety video a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago. You gotta be really, really aware of your surroundings. So it does take certain changes, lifestyle changes, obviously the complete lifestyle change, mindset changes, physical changes. So if you want a part 2 or have any more specific questions about certain things about this topic, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do another video about this. But that's gonna be it. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.